ago, I was cutting grass in my front yard. And the mailman shows up with a letter from the army. Now I'm here. No idea where I'm gonna end up.
Welcome, Lucent Truth viewers. Today we're going to be reviewing the new horror film called Overlord.
That's right.
And we're going to start with Uncle David. We're going to get your thoughts on the plot and story. What do you think of the plot and the story for Overlord?
Okay, now I'm going to have to be real honest about this movie and get to some truth very quickly in this podcast, right? When you know the factual history about African Americans and their times in World War II, and you look at the plot of this movie, it does not match. It does not match. You're not going to have some African American sergeant ahead of the 101st Airborne jumping out of the paratroopers jumping into France or whatever, and he's able to command and tell Caucasian soldiers what they're going to do. It just didn't happen like that. And I think that there's just something about this movie that has that underlying kind of message about how African American men are supposed to behave or be or something like that. That just eeks me. And we'll talk more about it as we go on, but I don't want to take up too much time because Brian usually has a lot he likes to say as well.
Yeah, but what are your thoughts on the plot and story?
Okay. Well, I mean, it's average at best. It's average at best. I have some bias because I know historically how things were during those times, so it's not that believable for me. That's my thought on the plot and story.
And what did you think, Orlando?
I'm pretty much an Uncle Dave on that, man. I mean, the plot, I like it. I like it, but at the same time, it's like, it's just the reality of it. You know, it's kind of hard to grasp it like that. You know, it's like, I really feel like we were kind of thrown into it. You know, it would have been, it's nice to know a little bit more backstory about the commander in chief, whatever the guy that was in on the plane.
Right.
You know, commanding the squadron and stuff like that and all. I guess if we knew a little backstory from him, it'll help it be more believable. Because, I mean, the way how he was, I know I'm kind of getting to the acting part, but the way how he was acting and, you know, trying to tell them, you know, basically what to do and all, it's like...
I think that was bad.
Yeah.
I think even if you learned more about who he was, even though he's a side character, even if you learn about who...
It just felt like...
It wasn't even a side character, it was a throwaway character. But even if you learned more about who he was, his bad acting would have not... it wouldn't have made up for it. So, but yeah, continue.
But I mean, other than that, it's just the whole.
And we're talking about what's his name? Bokeem Washington. Is that his name?
I'm not sure.
Woodley Bokeem.
Old school.
Woodland or something.
Yeah,
Old school.
Bokeem something.
He doesn't age though. He still look the same ever since. What's the movie with Will Smith's wife was in it?
He was also in
Jason's Lyric.
Woodbine.
Yeah,
that's his name.
Came to me right when you looked.
Still look the same. He ain't aged a bit. But just for that, the whole plot, you know, with World War II, you know, being dropped off in this war zone and stuff like that. I mean, like, you know, it's cool and all, but just trying to grasp the reality of it, man. It just feels like it's a different time than what it really was, type of deal. Dealing with the Germans and stuff like that.
I actually disagree with both of you on certain things, and I agree with some other.
Do tell us, Brian.
I've been waiting for this.
I actually think the plot is actually better in this than the story. I think the plot, how the action took place, was actually done really well.
Yeah.
I thought the plane scene was quite believable as far as what it would feel like to probably be in that type of war zone. Now, this is where I say the story, I think, takes a hit, okay? Because if you, like Uncle David said, if you know anything about World War II, if you know anything about race relations in this country, you know that in most cases, blacks, there was segregation even in the army.
Right.
Black soldiers didn't fight with white soldiers. As a matter of fact, most black soldiers were kind of like in a support capacity, like loading bombs on the ship.
Cooks.
What was cooks?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And they definitely
Red
didn't
Tails.
lead them.
They didn't lead, yeah.
It's like, what was it, Red Tails?
Red Tails, right.
Yeah,
They had their own, you know, thing.
Exactly. So if you look at it from a purely historical point of view, and you're a history nut, and you're not just gonna go see it for the popcorn film that it is, then you won't like it. So I agree, and I think that hurts the story. because they didn't really address it that much in the movie,
like they did
almost
in the
at all.
research.
It's almost like, okay, we'll just throw black people in there, like there was no racism back then. You see what I'm saying? So from that standpoint, I agree with you guys. Story-wise, I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
Plot-wise, I have to say they did a good job on how they revealed events, and that's what made the movie exciting. So I would give it a thumbs up for the plot, but not a thumbs down. I would say for historical accuracy, which I think affects the story.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And still that underlying theme that kind of just rubs me wrong about maybe this is how African American men should act.
Well, I actually disagree with you on that. I think where you're coming from on that is sort of like from a scarred black person's point of view.
No, just knowing historical facts.
No. Look, listen. What you said that you don't like how black men are portrayed, right, in the movie, right?
In the movie.
The
particular character, the lead character.
The lead character, right?
Right.
And I think the lead character actually displayed the average heroic traits that you would see in any average hero in almost any movie.
Right, but it doesn't match his background.
Well, it doesn't, and that's why I think you have a problem with it, because you've been scarred as a black person by racism in this country.
No, I just know the truth.
Yeah, I know you're the truth.
I know the history. I know what happened.
I understand, but it also scars you. So when you go see a movie that's not addressing that, you can't look past that. So it's always in the back of your mind. For example, like Bokeem Woodbine, he demonstrated the characteristics that you wanted, and he was black. The problem is he was just out of place.
And same as the other
You see what I'm
character.
saying?
How would you behave if your country, who did not like you, snatched you up in 3 months? They had you jumping out of an airplane. You wouldn't want to run into buildings and fight monsters.
But they did. But they did. They did in real life. They did.
No, they fought with their own unit, and it was a totally different.
And
story.
they still fought.
Totally different experience.
But there were incidents of black men being heroic in World War II who fought and died for their country.
True.
There were incidents. So you can't say it didn't happen. It did happen. It just it happened in a segregated manner. You see what I'm saying?
It did, but they had a certain way that they were trying to frame a narrative about their ability to do things where everybody could see it in their own unit.
What are you talking about? You're talking about the movie, or you're talking about real life?
Real life.
Okay.
Where it's like, okay, the Tuskegee Airmen have an unbeatable record as far as protecting fighter bombers or just plain bombers or whatever. It was known. You know what I'm saying? Not one individual, and I'm going to shoot them all. And I'm more human than everybody else. That's just not. No one acts like that.
Look, but I think you're doing a lot of conflation rather than taking the movie as what it is. Okay, any movie or most movies that have, like I would say, the classic European way of storytelling is going to have the classic hero. I would say the main character, he demonstrated all of those attributes. You don't like it because it's a black character that's out of place for a time period type of film. So you're looking at, like I said, you're looking at it from a scarred point of view. And there's some things you're bringing up that I totally agree with. That was a problem for me too, but I had to turn that part of me off to see, okay, what else in this movie is good. And I have to say there's a lot of good things in it. There's a lot of good things in it.
We're going to see that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good things in it.
You guys don't know the fight that we're going to have after the podcast. just so we can grant your next point.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to move on to cinematography, the visuals in the film. So, Uncle David, what did you think of the overall cinematography?
This part I actually like. When you really look at it and some of the shots they had, I really felt that I was in the plane with them going into World War II. You know, about one thing I saw that really got me is like they're flying, they're about to jump out the plane, and then you can see the tracer rounds come up through the bottom of the plane. Just beautiful shot, very believable, very believable. I think that with a combination of weaponry and uniforms, it's part of the plot or whatever. It really worked well. You know, the colors were good. It had the dark scenes, you know, in the different caverns of the secret base and things like that. They used the lighting well, so it really looked good. It's something that I think I'm going to watch a couple of times just to see the different angles and views and the way they use lighting on this film.
So what about you, Orlando? What do you think?
Yes, same, man. You know, with this being an action movie, I really believe they caught the whole action elements and stuff like that, and all, especially with, like you're saying, with the tracer rounds and saying like, you know, it really capturing, okay, look, they about to jump out this plane, they about to go and do this thing, you know, just with the, you know, even in like in the midst of that dogfight and stuff, like you were saying, with the tracer rounds coming through, you see the dude getting sick wise, and even when the dude jumped out of the plane, you actually see what he's going through. He's flipping and stuff like that.
Got pushed out.
Yeah, pushed out. Yeah, like even when the plane was coming apart, everybody, you know, it's, you know, just capturing all that, man. I want to say one of the scenes too when they were trying to later on in the movie when they're like mapping out how they're going to attack the secret compound, whatever. And it's like they're under something. It's not a bridge, but it was just that
trench.
The trench. It's like that view like that. They're just like right in the middle. And me, I'm thinking, okay, if you're out in something like this, you're not gonna be out in the open like that. You know, where everybody can see you. Kind of hidden off. Just like it just seemed that there was too much in the open. But I, pretty much with like what I got from that, it was a really good shot, and that's why they put that in there. And man, just even with the creatures, whatever, the zombie type stuff and all, the way how they capture that and how they were showcasing them, and to me it felt like I've seen zombie movies and stuff like that, or it's just something about these. It's like they had their own feel type of deal, just with that jerkiness.
Yeah,
you can see like the bones still right there after the break, they're still moving. It's just the way how they captured all that, man. I really think they did a really good job in that, and definitely something I would definitely see again. I mean, just just something different.
Yeah,
right? So yeah.
Yeah, I have to agree. The cinematography was pretty amazing. Like both of you said, that first scene was probably one of the best. The airplane and the what do they call the paratroopers? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Paratrooper scene, man. That was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And again, like going off what Orlando said, man, the actual creatures. I read that most of the effects in this movie were practical. They didn't use as much CGI as they do in movies.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah. So
stop using CG, please.
Yeah, exactly. So when you see the scene where the dude's, you know, when he comes back to life and breaking his bones, that was all practical.
Dang.
Yeah, there was no CG in that. And but yeah, I thought the shots were great. One of the shots that stand out in my mind the most, as far as it not being like a real extravagant shot, it was just well done, was when the Nazi came in to get his to have some fun with the local, and the American soldiers were upstairs, and the little boy or the girl's brother was upstairs too, and he made the noise, so the Nazis went up, and you see that shot of just the little boy standing, right, and then they pan up, and you see the American soldiers just waiting, what's the gun, waiting for the Nazis to come in. I thought that was really cool. It had a lot of intensity, and then like the little boy, he throws a baseball down, and he spits on it and throws it back. It was just a lot of really cool angles and shots. I thought that really it created a lot of like intensity, or even the shot where the dude, like after they puncture him with the serum that brings you back to life, and then you see him on the ground, he just
it's catching everybody,
and everyone's looking like it just created a lot of intensity, and it was one of those movies where the audience kind of knows what's going to happen, but it works because you know what's going to happen, but you know the characters are going to be shocked, so you're going to be like, oh, he's going to wake up. Yeah. But it's sort of like Hereditary in some sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? There wasn't really a whole lot of jump scares. It was more, we're just going to build a lot of intensity.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which I thought was really good. But it was a beautiful film. I thought when it comes to like costumes and stuff like that, and the look of the town, and like you said, the technology, they did a good job making a period piece and making it look like it was that time.
They did very well.
Yeah, the problem is it just had black people in the wrong situations. That was the only thing that was kind of out of whack when it comes to visuals or whatever. And they could have fixed that, I think, if they would have added more of the racial component in the story.
Right.
You know, but I guess we'll talk about that a little bit more when we get to the script and writing. So does anybody else have anything to add as far as cinematography?
I want to say when they were trying to interrogate the guy, the Nazi dude.
Yeah.
And then you saw when they first when the American guy was interrogating him, but then when it came time for the Nazi guy, when he got that serum in him, and then he did the same thing. Like it was like
put him on that meat hook.
He's trying to pull it off, man. Just shots with that, man. It's like you really did. It's like you really feel it. Like, man, that dude gotta pull himself off.
It was like, I was like, I will say these are some of the scarier zombies for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's like you shoot these things in their head and they still.
And it's like, you know, when I really think about, I mean, you really didn't get to see the full potential of them. Type, you know, them actually running. It wasn't like, oh, you got hordes of them just running at you.
Yeah.
I mean, but I'm pretty sure they had other ones locked up and stuff. And, you know, it was
well, they did. Remember at the end when he started opening the things up?
Oh, yeah.
And they started like, rising up.
But then, you know, everything got...
And I'm glad they didn't do that because if they did, it would have changed the nature of the film.
Yeah.
If it was more like we got to run away from the zombies, you couldn't have it in one location.
Couldn't get isolated like that.
The mystery would have been revealed a lot earlier, you know. So I'm kind of glad they didn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, I will say though, when I was reading up on this film on IMDb, they were saying this was a supernatural horror, but I don't remember any supernatural things in the movie. I thought it was.
So what
do
you consider like supernatural?
Supernatural, like okay, instead of the zombies being resurrected through science, they're being resurrected through like magic or something. Or through
this was more like technology.
I thought it was technology.
Religion or something.
Well, you know what? They kept talking about something underneath some kind of river or something. They were mining, taking out where they was getting it from.
Yeah, you know what? I have to go back and watch it again. Maybe I missed something.
He kept saying something about that. I was like, well, maybe that's some kind of.
She did say something, but I didn't quite.
Maybe that's the supernatural thing about it.
Yeah, but what is it? I mean,
I guess that's the mystery.
remember when the black guy went in there? He was looking down in the little vat and there was some black stuff. But I didn't.
He even said, "Yeah, should have put this black stuff in them." He said something like that. No,
I didn't quite make out what it was.
Yeah. So and the guy just kept saying, "Yeah, we're going to use this to make super soldiers and stuff like that." And all, but like I said, we're
gonna have to watch it again. I think I missed some plot points that. Because I didn't get the supernatural thing. It was, to me, it was more of like a science horror, like science fiction horror. Yeah, because I thought it was science. I thought he was doing some magic, like Captain America's super soldier serum gone wrong.
Right.
You know, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah,
but you know, we'll go back. I'll have to go back and watch it again.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on to acting, scripts, and writing. Right. And starting with you, Uncle David, what did you think of the acting, the script, and the writing? For
the most part, I think the acting was pretty good. I mean, Bokeem Woodbine kind of dropped the ball a bit, but once the story started going, to see the fear in certain characters, you know, their personalities and everything play out, it was pretty much believable for me, you know. I could feel it when the French woman was in and the Nazi soldier was going to come and force herself on him, and the soldiers were upstairs.
That was pretty intense.
And he was just like, you know, you could see him like,
no, not do it.
You know, it was very believable for me. It was, you know, I have a couple flaws in there here and there when it came to the Nazi leader when he became this monster or whatever, and he got kind of like cheesy, but for the most part,
the one-liners.
The one-liners, yeah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I think the characters were able to get across the idea, and you know, through the lines they used and the emotions that they were able to express.
Cool. Yeah. Like, you know, likewise too. I do feel like it was a couple of one-liners that were kind of cheesy, but I mean, all in all, I do believe the acting was good. It was, you know, some parts of it was believable. I had a hard time believing, especially in the beginning when they was on the actual plane with the sergeant.
Yeah,
that's just
Bokeem Woodbine.
I just couldn't. I couldn't. It just seemed like he was just. I mean, it just, you know, he's sending them off this. Okay, yeah, I told you girls, I'm gonna show you a good time. I don't know how many times you get saying that. You got bullets flying. Oh yeah, I told you girls, I'm gonna show you a good time. You know, I'm like, hey, come on. It's just, even when he got on the ground, he's still just talking. You know what I mean? But I kept telling myself, you know what? I'm not invested in this character because I don't know his backstory. I just know
it's because the acting is that bad.
See, I know you were saying.
I'm serious. It was just that bad.
But it's like, you know, I've seen him. I really think he could have did more. But I mean, I guess that's what the lines what they gave him, because I've seen him in other movies where
I don't think it's the lines. Though. I think
you just think it's him.
Yeah, it was just bad acting.
Maybe, you know, it's that age catching up with him or something.
No, I think it's just I've never seen him in a movie where I was like convinced by him.
Yeah,
he's always striking me as kind of like a Will Smith.
I want to say one of the acting I liked, man, was like when it came time with the relationship with the the little kid, the brother and stuff like that, and all like with one like the soldier. It was like, you know,
Italian guy.
Yeah, Italian guy, man. It was like, you know, in the beginning he kept brushing him off. He kind of, you know, looked at him, you know, like in the way type of deal. But I like to see how the relationship developed and it grow. You know, because even now when it got to the part to where, you know, the soldier had to go and save the little boy because he was stuck in the gunfire and stuff. And you really felt that tension. The way how they had the way how he was shot. You know, you felt like, oh dang man. I mean, a couple of times like, man, little boy, this, you know, the way this kept cutting back to him. You know, and you can actually see, man, the little boy, he was like, oh that, you know, he really felt that fear, man. You know, versus, I know it's two different movies though. Versus in Halloween with the black little boy. Oh yeah. You know, it was kind of yeah, that's two different things.
He was funny, but it was like
yeah. But you know, but at times, you know, the little boy in this one, he was funny. You know, a lot of things and
that's
stuff.
True,
and all. So you know, it's like, you know, you got invested in that character. It's like, man, you really don't want to see nothing happen to him or the soldier guy. And I really think that was, you know, well done. You know, like well done with that part right there. You know, capturing that, you know, to you know, build that relationship wise, you know, with the audience and you know. But yeah, man. I mean, I really enjoyed the acting though, man. There was a couple one-liners, like I said, that kind of got him. I was like, oh man, they didn't really say that. Oh, come on. I mean, some part I was like, okay. No.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah, I have to agree. I think overall the acting was actually pretty good.
Now, how about the black dude?
The main character? I actually thought he was pretty good. I thought most of the scenes that he was in, I thought were believable. Like he did a good job.
The choices he was making. And I shot myself in that same shoes. Okay, look. Because just like he said, he was like, you know, hey, I just got a letter in the mail, and I just, you know, signed up, you know, and now.
That's how he got drafted.
Yeah, they say they ended up on his lawn.
He was cutting the grass or something like that.
He was cutting the grass, and then 3 months later, he was in that airplane.
Yeah, he got drafted. Yeah. I think he did a good job. I think he portrayed all the classic hero traits. Even you know how they say the hero, he goes on his journey and he's changed by the journey. Remember at the end, he stood with more confidence. He stood like he was the leader, and he was almost like the Bokeem Woodbine character was. You know what I'm saying? Just not as brash, but he had more confidence. He had more. You know what I'm saying? So I thought he did a good job expressing that. And I think overall, man, I think everyone, other than Bokeem Woodbine, I think everyone was believable for the most part. Like you said, like as far as the writing was concerned, there was a couple of lines I was like, okay, it seemed like they didn't really know what to write, and it didn't come off as believable. But it was only a couple of times actually, if you really think about it.
Yeah, it wasn't a lot.
Overall, I think the movie was pretty believable. You know who I also really liked? The camera guy. Camera guy.
Oh
yeah. He I thought he
trying to get them all shot.
Exactly. And just his movements and stuff after he got revived. I thought he was doing pretty good.
Like, the way he was like, you know, you just coming out like, oh man, she was thirsty. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, him coming back, he really portrayed that. But like, you know, I really felt like, okay, this dude just
died and came back to life.
And
didn't know it.
And then sitting there messing around with the bullet hole, like, man.
Or even like when he was dying, and he was like, "Am I gonna be alright?" You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to get up. Like, give me my camera. Yeah. You know.
Even when they brought him back, you know, even when he got mad at the dude, what did you do to me? You see that rage and everything coming, man. It was just.
I thought the acting was pretty good. I thought the script was pretty well written, except for a few parts. You know, I thought the overall feel of the story was,
especially the grandma.
That was actually some good shots too. I just thought it was well done. I thought it was well done overall. All right, so we're gonna move on to the musical score. Uncle David, what did you think of the score, sound effects? Did anything stand out to you?
Well, I think as far as like making the explosions and the gunfire and everything. It was a well mixed where a lot of stuff was going on, but they still could get the audio across about what they were saying. It was well done. It's on a professional. As far as the score, I can't remember a thing.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like, did they play music?
I was thinking the same thing. Like,
I do think they did play some kind of like a heavy. Oh no, the thing from Nas track at the end.
That's right, at the end.
I do remember.
Yeah.
Played that, and I do
Greatest
remember.
Man Alive.
Yeah, and I do remember some kind of like a heavy metal type feel. And for some reason in the movie too, it just kind of made me think about, oh gosh, it's like, it's not Doom, the video game, but it kind of, the movie felt like it could have been a video game too, like a first-person shooter.
Yeah.
I think Wolfenstein.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah, it kind of felt like I seen parts of the game, but it kind of made me felt like that a little type of deal. So, but I really can't remember all of the sound. I know it's there, you know, mixed in with the sound effects, like I was saying, especially with the gunfights and, you know, that the whole war. You know,
artillery and stuff.
I really felt like, you know, that was especially when the dude trying to clear out from the base they had. And still he was hitting people and stuff, but it was like, man, you got this big line gun, you ain't taking all this. You know, just the sound effect from that, the shots, and you know, you hearing that sound design from that, man. And, you know, and a lot of times, man, even with the creatures, like when they were doing their moves and jerking and stuff, the way how just the sound off of it, man, it's really, you know, you kind of felt like, oh, you know, so I really was digging the sound design. But as far as actual score part, I know it's there, but I want to say the thing that's like jumped at me more was just the sound effects, action and stuff.
Yeah, you know. I have to agree. I think I agree with that. Like for some reason I can't remember. I remember it being good, but not distinctive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But whatever it was, it accented everything, I think, well enough. And like you guys said, the sound effects were actually really quite good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, that's pretty much it for the score, unless y'all got anything else to say. All right, Lucent Truth viewers, we're going to move on to our final thoughts, and we're going to give our rating system. And as you know, if you've watched our videos before, or if you have not watched our videos before, the way we rate things on Lucent Truth are through what we call Lucent Bulbs, right? Like light bulbs, except we call them Lucent Bulbs. And you can only give a movie 5 Lucent Bulbs.
That's size.
But you can't give half bulbs. So, Uncle David, what are your final thoughts on the movie, and how would you rate the movie overall?
I mean, to be fair, I have my own biases, but to be fair, for someone who just wants to go out and see a good movie, I have to give it a 3 because they were able to get the acting. You know, it was pretty good. As far as the effects, it was believable. You know, it looked well and everything was there. It's not something that I think is going to have a lot of. You watch quality probably after the second time, you're like, okay, I've seen this before. It's not that unique in the idea. I've seen, you know, the Frankenstein-like Nazi scientists making zombie-like soldiers. I've seen a couple of films with this theme.
You know, it was good as this one?
I didn't like really any of them much.
Yeah, I think taking this concept as far as the Nazis, you can never go wrong with Nazis when it comes to villains. That's the first thing. But when it comes to Nazis doing experiments, this is probably one of the best ones I've seen.
Probably so. I mean, like I said, I give it a 3. It's not bad. It's not going to be like up there with some of my favorite films, but it's definitely worth your time to watch. As far as going out and paying a lot of money to see it and taking your whole family, I'd wait till it came out on something like Netflix and try to catch it there, you know what I'm saying, and enjoy it there. But go out and spend a lot of money for a whole bunch of people to see it, I probably wouldn't.
So 3 bulbs?
3 bulbs.
What? So any more final thoughts?
I'm gonna keep my mouth closed. There's a lot of behind the scenes.
I got some final thoughts.
Stuff, and we try to leave room for the professionals here so they can give their final thoughts.
No one's getting paid for this. We're not professionals.
Man.
So what do you think?
Oh man. I think I want to actually give it a 4, man. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I love the pacing. I mean, only flaws really like some of the acting, but like I said, man, the special effects, the acting, what else? It was, you know, it's a lot of things that stuck with me on it, man. You know, character development, you know, and stuff like that. At first, like, oh, okay, where they going with this? But, you know, it actually started turning real good. And it's like, it makes me want to, okay, it's like, you know, like another final thought I have with it is the guy that made the movie. You said his name is Jay.
Abrams. He didn't direct it. He produced it.
So is this the same guy that does like Broken and things of that nature and stuff like that?
I think it's Transformers, right?
No. J.J. Abrams, he did the Star Trek reboot.
Okay.
He did a couple of other films, like what was that one called about the alien?
Oh, I'm thinking of the other dude.
He did Cloverfield. He did that.
Okay.
He did a lot of TV series shows like.
Didn't he do Transformers?
No, that's Michael Bay.
Oh, okay.
Didn't J.J. Abrams do Lost? I think J.J. Abrams did.
Don't worry, I'm there too late.
I think he did the Lost.
I will hide my head
Lost
in
series.
shame
He did Lost.
podcast.
Okay, that's
fans.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he's always done science fiction and fantasy and stuff
Okay.
like that. There's a few other films that he did that I thought were okay. I did like the Star Trek reboot. I thought the Star Trek, but he didn't direct this. It was another guy. He produced it. His company produced it.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, I enjoyed
I
it.
can get the director real quick. Keep going.
But yeah, I would think it was a good movie, good action movie and stuff. Like I said, the pacing was real good. I just want to see more of it. I just want to see what else is, because like now we're even thinking that's okay. They were talking about this black lab, stuff and all that. So it's like it's the way how it ended type of deal. It's like I'm kind of thinking they kind of feel like it won't be a second one type of deal. But I would like to see a second one. I just hope we don't overkill it. And everything, but it's just this one here just kind of felt like an introduction to it. And I really believe it was well done with it and stuff like that. I mean,
Just wanted to see more.
yeah, I just want to see more, man. But I mean, I enjoyed myself with it. 4 and all. So,
So
right up
3
there with,
and a 4.
with Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
The
Here
director.
we go.
The director's name is Julius Avery, and I looked up to try to see some of the other movies. He's done some other movies, but I didn't recognize him. I actually gave this movie the same ratings as I'm giving Hereditary. I think it's a 3.5. Yeah. I actually think it's. Hear me out.
Let him talk.
You gave it a 3, right? What'd you give Hereditary?
I think I gave it 4.5.
4.5. Yeah. I give it the same rating as Hereditary. I think that they're different types of movies, but I think both movies aren't like the pinnacle of cinema or anything like that.
Yeah.
But they're good. They're well done, and I enjoy both of them. I actually think this movie has more rewatchability than Hereditary, though. It's more fun.
It
I think
does have
it's
to
more
be
fun.
And this is, if you're into like a well-paced movie,
A well-paced movie, yeah.
this will be good for you.
Yeah,
Type of deal.
yeah, and it's not a slow burn like Hereditary. You're not
nah.
gonna you ain't gonna fall asleep watching.
It gets gets right to the point.
Yeah, especially that first scene with the airplane.
Yeah.
What Piedmont is watching? Look at Lord Piedmont.
Yeah, so I think a 3.5. I think the movie is a lot of fun. It's well acted. It's for the most part is well written, like you said, except for a couple of lines. I was genuinely interested in what was going on. I wanted to know what was happening. You know what I'm saying? I was interested to see what would become of certain characters and actors, or certain characters in the movie. I want to watch it again. I would like to see it again. Yeah. And I actually disagree. I think it is worth watching. I wouldn't go to the best theater and spend a whole bunch of money, but I think if you can go to a cheap theater and go with your friends, you'll have a lot of fun.
I don't want to see it again.
You have a lot of fun. Yeah, okay, we disagree.
He likes Legend. So
it was only the best movie ever made, and your taste is really bad. So
we
yeah.
gotta find.
But I have to give my final thoughts on the movie. Here's my final thoughts on the movie. And this is the problem that I have with white America. And you kind of addressed this, I think, earlier on in the podcast, Uncle David. And that is sometimes when you have an opportunity to address an issue through art, you play the safe route. I get it. J.J. Abrams seems like he's a very a progressive type of guy. So I can see him, maybe the other producers saying, hey, let's get a black guy in there. Black people should be represented. They also fought in World War II. But it's how this movie was done. It's almost like a slap in the face when it comes to African American soldiers and the struggle African Americans went through during that time period. And they sort of did it at the end as far as showing how the Americans, in some sense, were just as bad as the Nazis. Because remember at the end when the what was he, the corporal?
Yeah.
Question.
The white guy.
Right, yeah.
There was at the end where he locks himself in, even though he had a chance to escape because he had the serum, the super soldier serum in him to give him the super strength or whatever. But he locks himself in. And he tells the black guy to go, and the black guy saying, "No, we can make it." He was like, "Nah, both sides can't have this technology or this serum that creates super soldier." So they hinted at it there. They hinted at it there, but they didn't quite go all the way through with it and say, hey, you know, Americans are kind of, I was going to use the F word, the F-bomb, but I don't want to do a bunch of editing. The Americans can be very racist and genocidal too, right? And I thought a better way...
We talked about that at the end too, when he asked him, was there anything down in there
in there that
was worth digging up?
Exactly, you're right. So they kind of addressed it. They kind of hinted at it. They didn't really address it, right? But I think a better way to have ended the movie would be that the black guy and the other white people that survived, that they're, you know, hanging out in the camp, the military camp or whatever, and you see some white guys walk by the black guy and they call him the N-word. They'll say, why are you working with that spook or something like that? You know what I'm saying? And then the other white people like, you shut your mouth! I think that would have, because almost throughout the entire movie they didn't address race. And I think if they would have addressed it at the end, it would have gave the movie relevance. Right. You see what I'm saying?
And he should have got the girl. The hero should always get the girl.
Yeah, that was kind of just, because you could tell there's some
tension,
some attraction.
He liked the girl or whatever.
Yeah, there was some attraction between the two. And
he saved the brother. He could have went home.
Yeah.
He did a lot. He saved the brother. He helped stop the other Nazi guy from trying to force
found the compound.
Found the compound. Yeah, all that, man.
No reward.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
No reward.
Yeah.
And historically, remember when he got off the plane and he came back, you know what they called him after the war.
So I think
all that was for nothing.
Yeah, so I think in that respect, that's where the movie fails the most. You had a real chance to use your art, because art isn't just to have fun. I mean, obviously there's a fun aspect to art and entertaining people. Yeah, but you can actually tell through your story, through your art, you can actually tell history. You can influence people. You can educate people, and I think it would have been a good opportunity to show, especially if you're going to just do ahistorical stuff like having black people lead some kind of white, what do they call it? A squad, a squad or platoon or whatever, and having this random black man when the squads were segregated back then. If you're going to do that, at least address the race issue. Right. Have a special reason. Okay, we have to have this black guy here because, you know, he has a special knowledge or whatever or something like that. So that's why it happened. It's like how they did with Native Americans. Right. They would use Native Americans.
He did speak French. I would have to say that.
He did, but like you said, there's plenty of white people that could have got to speak French, so they couldn't really use that. You know what I'm saying? So I think when it comes to my final thoughts, I like the movie. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to rewatch it, but they dropped the ball on the relevance part. You know what I'm saying? And I think relevant movies stand the test of time. I'm not a religious person, but I can sit down and watch the Ten Commandments movie right now, or Ben-Hur. Those are good freaking movies. They have good messages in it. They have good morals in it. You know what I'm saying? And I can literally watch it right now and sit down and enjoy it. You know, because the acting is good. It's well produced. You know, and they have relevance. You know, they actually have relevance. They're teaching some kind of moral story or whatever with the Ten Commandments. It's about slavery, and I think Ben-Hur is about slavery too, right? They get enslaved. Yeah, it's about slavery, right? So I think that would be my final thoughts on it. They dropped the ball, but overall, I thought it was a good movie. So for me, it's a 3.5. Yeah. So any more final thoughts?
Make sure to subscribe, like, and share, and ring that bell. And we don't have on the t-shirts today. It's a bit shame on us. Shame on both of you. Wait. Bam! Oh, don't want to show my fat stomach. Ah!
Yeah.
Okay, you pull your shirt up. Watch it have on his vagina.
What does it say? Outlaw?
It don't matter what it says.
Johnny Black shirt. Go check out Michael Jai White's new movie. Michael Jai White's holding it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And your shirt is old and busted. Why didn't you see yours that well?
Well, I mean, it's the...
Better have a busted shirt than none at all.
Yeah, it's...
Actually, yours is a little better.
Yeah,
a little faded.
I'm sure Michael Jai White thanks you.